The great leader Kim Jong-il said as follows: "The brave seamen of our People's Army captured Pueblo, the armed spy ship of the U.S. Imperialists, which was conducting espionage in our territorial waters, and over 80 aggressors on board the ship. It was a severe punishment to the U.S. imperialist aggressors who violated the sovereignty of our country." Pueblo, armed spy ship of the U.S. imperialists. This is Pueblo, armed spy ship of the U.S. imperialist aggression forces captured by our seamen on January the 23rd, 1968. These are the crewmen of Pueblo. There were 83, including 6 officers. But one of them was killed at the time of capture as he attempted to resist. The report on the capture of Pueblo excited the world. A foreign reporter said, "The capture of a U.S. warship by other nation is a surprising event unprecedented in history. What will be the answer of the United States that claims to be a superpower?" The then U.S. President Johnson, with an air of surprise, said Pueblo was a civilian marine research vessel which was operating on the open sea, and he maintained that the capture of Pueblo and its crew was a violation of the international law. The captured crew also attempted to hide their identities and deny their crimes. But informations and evidences captured on the ship proved their crimes. Captain of the ship, Lieutenant Colonel Lloyd Mark Butcher, confessed that Pueblo was an espionage vessel belonging to the U.S. Pacific Fleet, and all the crew had rich experiences of espionage, and that the commander of the operation was Rear Admiral Frank Johnson, the commander of U.S. Navy in Japan, and their task was to detect the military objects and the distribution of radar networks along the coast of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and the movements of Navy of the Korean People's Army. Lieutenant Stephen Robert Harris, a research officer, said that they had left Sasebo port of Japan on January 11th, 1968. And as soon as they had entered the waters of East Korean Bay, they disguised the ship as a civilian research vessel and started operation. Lieutenant Junior Grade Frederick Carl Schumacher, operational officer, said that they had caught operations of various raiders on 135 occasions and photographed movements of warships and civilian vessels tens of times during operation in the waters. Lieutenant Edward Lance Murphy, administrative officer, said that their captain, upset with no tangible success, ordered them on January the 23rd to approach Wonsan closer, and so they had come closer to Wonsan and conducted espionage acts. He continued that their location at that time was 7.6 miles from Rio Island on the Sea of Wonsan, and the warships of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea had appeared and captured them. The crew unanimously admitted the fact that they had intruded deep into our territorial waters and conducted espionage on 17 occasions and signed a joint apology to the DPRK government. As a result, the statement of U.S. President Johnson was proved to be a sheer lie. But Johnson manipulated mass media to spread a rumor that North Korea had persecuted a crew of Pueblo and executed the officers. But at that moment, the officers were writing a letter to their President Johnson. Your Excellency President, now we are enjoying humanitarian treatment and are provided with everything necessary for our daily life. The treatment accorded us is beyond the expectation which we do not deserve. The brazen-faced U.S. imperialists brought the Pueblo incident to the UN Security Council to shift the responsibility upon us. Moreover, they claimed that they wouldn't rule out a retaliation and an all-out war if we didn't return Pueblo and its crew. At the same time, they brought large forces, including the nuclear-powered aircraft carrier Enterprise, to make us surrender. In this tense situation, President Kim Il-sung and General Kim Jong-il resolutely stated that we would answer the enemy's retaliation with retaliation and their all-out war with all-out war. Many countries of the world supported the revolutionary stand of our republic and condemned the U.S. imperialists. Alarmed at the development of the situation, the enemy attempted to make us surrender, not with strength, but through negotiations. General Kim Jong-il instructed to state, the U.S. government should take responsibility and apologize. Then we'll return the prisoners, but we cannot return Pueblo as it is a trophy. At that time, there was a press conference with a crew of Pueblo in Pyongyang at the request of the journalists from various countries who had come to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the foundation of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. All our crimes have already been disclosed to the world. Unless the U.S. President and government apologize to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea government for our crimes, will be brought to the trial according to the laws of this country and be sentenced either to death or long-term imprisonment. The crew unanimously admitted their crimes and requested for mercy, saying, "We want to go home alive. But the President and government that sent us here are now blocking the way. Help us, please." Lionel Martin, American journalist, said that he was very ashamed as an American to hear the words of the prisoners, and the U.S. President and government should not only apologize but also guarantee that such things will never happen again. American people also blamed the U.S. President and the administration. This threw the president and administration into utter confusion. On December 23, 1968, 11 months after the capture of Pueblo, the enemy knelt down before the Korean people and made an official apology. To the Democratic People's Republic of Korea government, the U.S. administration assumes full responsibility and seriously apologizes for the intrusion into the DPRK territorial waters by U.S. war vessel and for its serious espionage activities, and guarantees that no American warship will intrude into the DPRK territorial waters in the future. The U.S. representative was so confused that he even forgot to write a dater in the apology. He wrote a dater hurriedly urged by a representative. President Johnson complained that the apology was the only one of its kind in the U.S. history. At 11:30 in the morning that day, the DPRK government announced that it would expel over 80 spies out of the republic. The aggressors who lorded it over everywhere in the world were driven out of our country. They returned without even turning their faces, without any dignity of the United States and honor of U.S. soldiers. The U.S. Imperialists who knelt down before the Korean people are now running on downhill. The people of the world unanimously said, the myth of mightiness of the United States was shattered again before the heroic Korean people. The victory of the Korean people, it is the victory of the great leader Kim Il-sung and the glorious Workers' Party of Korea. Many years have passed since the Pueblo incident, but Pueblo, a witness of history and trophy, will testify century after century the crimes of aggression committed by the U.S. imperialists against the Korean people.